staff members, and our wonderful community. We do appreciate you here at Hattiesburg Public School District. Thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedules to join us for lunch. During this time, our Tire Connect session, which are designed to definitely make the connection between school and home. Each Tuesday at 12 p.m. noon, you're invited to continue to join us as we bring out important information. And the idea is to equip, empower, educate our parents so that they can help themselves, their children, as well as members of the community. Specifically, today's session will target our registration process for the 2021-22 school year. It is so very hard to believe that we're already talking about next school year. This is a summary of our registration must-knows. The presentation will be presented by myself, Tanza Vaughn, Federal Programs Director, Curriculum Director, grades 6 through 12, and Mrs. Regenis Winters, our Data Manager here for Hattiesburg Public School District. Again, we do welcome you to our session, and we appreciate each of you. This session is being recorded, and it will be available this afternoon via our HPSD Communications YouTube channel at 6 p.m. Also, it will be circulated on our social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram, so that you have immediate access to it. And lastly, we will put up on our website a registration link where this PowerPoint and any other FAQs or questions that you may have regarding registration will be readily available to you on our website. Hattiesburg Public School District, it is our mission here to educate all students so they may leave here as productive citizens ready to compete in a dynamic global community. It's our vision. We see ourselves becoming a model teaching and learning environment where we graduate citizens who are productive and caring, and they're prepared to succeed. Our goals, we have academic success, community support and engagement, safe and orderly schools, and fiscal responsibility. In those goals, our community engagement piece is definitely one of our primary goals, and Tire Connect happens to fit into that. Our registration for 2021-22 school year, I know you all have lots of questions, so we will go through this presentation and try to unpack as much of the information as we possibly can. Feel free to type any questions that you may have in the chat box. This is an interactive session, but again, it is being recorded so that you can refer back to it as well as reference others to refer to the presentation. But if you have any questions, feel free to type those in the chat box. Dr. Will, Ms. Winters will help me to monitor the chat box there. June the 1st through July 14th is going to be our online, our student registration window. This is for our in-person pieces only. We are reverting back to a model that we started about 2 years ago, and we started it really worked well with our families, and it was convenient. It has two parts to it, and the first part is going to be online. Your active parent accounts, if you already have those, and you're the parent of a returning student to Hattiesburg Public School District, it is very simple. The first part is you go log into your active parent account, and you may begin the online registration part there. The second piece is our in-person, and in the in-person part, that's when you would bring in your actual 2 proofs of residency along with your identification for your child. During that time, we definitely will have to adhere to COVID protocols and procedures in each school building. Again, our registration this year has 2 components to it. There is the online registration, which we will open May the 3rd for all parents of our returning students to go ahead into their active parents accounts, update that information, confirm the information that is there. And then the second piece, you will need to go in person to your school site between June the 1st and July 14th to bring in your actual copies of your proofs. Now we are waiting actually to hear back from the State Department on some of that with the proofs. You do have the capacity to upload your documents into Active Parent, which is our online registration system. And we're really excited about that. So that capacity is available to you. And whether or not we have to see you in person, if you are a returning student only, we will get notice from MDE, and as soon as they let us know, we will get that information out to you. But as it stands, if you're the parent of a returning student, simply go into your active parent account, confirm the information that is there. You can upload your proofs there, and it can be completely, I guess you would say, contactless. However, if it's determined by the State Department that we need to do some additional verification, or if you're a parent of a new student, or if you're a parent that needs to bring in some additional shot records and those sorts of things, campus will be open for registration in person, June the 1st through July the 14th. The active parent link is here and available for you in this presentation that we will post. During that piece, if you have any questions about the portal and how to use it and what your features are, you can contact the school sites. We will have those numbers available for you at the end of the presentation. At each school site, their hours for in-person during that June the 1st through July 14th time is going to be 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So at any time during those hours, you are allowed to go to that school site to do your in-person pieces and components of registration in adherence with the COVID protocols, which means mask wearing and the social distancing pieces in those buildings. Registration details that are specifically for our returning students. Some of this may seem like I'm repeating it, but I wanted to make sure that we picked out each group of student and divided it out so that it was very clear which category your family may fit into, so that there's as less confusion as possible there. If you're the parent of a returning student who has the same address and you're not on an affidavit, you simply have to go into the computer and verify your residency via Active Parent online by clicking on that online statement and scanning and uploading any required documentation. Now, there's a note here. If you are the parent of an incoming 7th grader or kindergartner, you must scan and upload your 121 immunization forms. There is a statement there when you enter to register that says, has your address changed for 21-22 school year? If it's no, then you're fine. You've clicked, you've scanned, you've updated, you're fine. Again, though, if we have to do any changes to that after we've talked to the State Department, or after they've released that information, we will definitely let our parents know. But at this point, if you're a parent of a returning student, starting May the 3rd, you may go in and complete your online registration part if you're at the same address. Now, remember that your transportation, the bus routes, they're all built by what is in the computer, what you provide to us in Active Parent, or what you fail to delete from Active Parent. So our bus transportation department really encourages us to ensure that those addresses are correct, because that is how they print your baby's transportation card. The second group of students that we have here are returning students who are at a different address and they're not on an affidavit. So you're at a different address, things have changed, and you're not on an affidavit. So those students who are living at a different address, you may go in through Active Parent. You may go in and upload your documents, Remember, if you're a seventh grader, that TDAP would need to be there. If you're kindergarten, your 121 ready would also need to be there. Speaking of the seventh grade shot for the TDAP, we normally partner with our Samurai clinics, and they offer those immunizations to our Hattiesburg Public School District student, but you're welcome to go to your own primary care doctor or even to the health department, but we will get additional immunization flyers and information from the Samurai Clinic out to our parents as soon as possible. And our Director of Exceptional Education and Health Services, Ms. Kiana Howard, is also here. So if there are questions regarding the immunization pieces and how that would need to take place, she could definitely assist you with that. If you answered this question, yes, that was listed in active parent, yes, my address has changed, then your principal may or may not, more than likely, will require you to come in person to finalize that process. Again, we're waiting to hear a final update from MDE on the in-person pieces. But for now, this is how we're moving forward. Your dates to come in and make those are between the hours of 9 to 3 and during the dates of June 1st through June 14th. Again, it simply reminds you about your TDAP shot and your immunization. It is so important that that information is correct. It must be accurate for the transportation department. So if your address has changed, please, sir, please, ma'am, ensure that you get that information updated in active parent, but also that those proofs and that correct information is available to those school sites so that they can get those correct bus card information over to the transportation department. Remember, if you have any questions, the chat box is there for you. I do have one question. What does it mean to be on an affidavit? And that's a very good question there. With our students and our families that are on affidavit, there are several different circumstances that are involved in that process. One of them being that they're living in a place that is not necessarily their own single dwelling primary residency. They may be living with someone else. And they're living there temporarily. An affidavit is normally a temporary situation there. And there are 4 different reasons for that affidavit. Either you're an unaccompanied youth there, you're living cohabitating for financial reasons with another family member or a friend. And then there's those where there's possibly a situation where the parent is not available at all, maybe due to incarceration or abuse or extreme situations such as that. So one of the most common ones really that we deal with is the cohabitation for financial reasons. But with that, an affidavit is a document that you're attesting to the best of your knowledge that you are providing truthful information. So the individual whose home that you're living in really needs to consider and make sure that everything is very truthful that they provide, because those affidavits are signed off and sworn to that is the truth. So if you have someone living with you, you as the person doing the affidavit, a primary leaseholder or a homeowner, would need to come in with your 2 proofs. And then that person who's living with you, who needs to enroll their child, would need to come with their documents as well. That is a great question. That is a great question. And if there are any more questions relating to the affidavit, you may feel free to email me. Dr. Will, if you would please type my email address in that box, or any questions in general dealing with registration, that is what we are here for. Please email me. I do not mind answering those questions. Specifically for our students who are new to Hattiesburg Public School District, our students who are new, they would need to get their parent or guardian to provide from that previous school the report card, and they must come in person during that June the 1st through July 14th time period, because we have to create for you what is called an online active parent code, and you'll have to create an account and get an online student registration code. There are different pieces to that. So again, June 1st through 14th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. please see your schools, go to those sites, contact them, and just ensure that you're adhering to those COVID protocols. And that's for students who are new. Not only would you need your report card, you need to bring your immunization records, your if you're seventh grade, especially that TDAP shot up to date, and if you are kindergarten, you're 121 school ready. Also, that parent would need to bring those 2 proofs of residency to accompany that. I do see that there's a follow-up question there to the residency piece. With an affidavit, what is required for an affidavit? It's a formal, written, or regular paper. We actually have a form that our counselors and our principals will look at and work with you to complete that. And as I said, there are several steps to the affidavit process. One of them entailing that that individual who you are residing with is present to complete the affidavit, and that he or she has their government ID, their own 2 proofs of residency, and they're testing that you're living with them. There is a full official form here from Hattiesburg that we have available for our customers and our partners to complete as they're going through that process. So definitely it is a form, and then it requires that individual to be present, and you as well as that individual would need to attest to what you're saying is very factual. A counselor, or maybe the principal, or maybe the bookkeeper, they're notaries on site, and then they will notarize that particular paperwork. The affidavit is not something that we have publicized anywhere or posted. Since it's a governmental document, it is available only at our school sites. You're very welcome, Ms. Washington. Very welcome there. Continuing with our registration for any of our new babies, we definitely want to make sure that you have everything. So we have added this checklist here for you. Your 2 proofs of residency. I know, as I said, it all seems redundant, but we wanted to make sure that we separated out very clearly our different categories of student enrollment. So far, we've covered our students who are returning and they have the same exact address. And we've covered our students who are returning, but they are not on affidavit, but they may have a different address. And now we're speaking to our new students. Please make sure you have this information available specifically, that withdrawal slip from your previous school with their report card, so that your schedules are good to go. Kindergarten babies, our kindergarten babies, you're going to need to come in person to get your active parent accounts and those codes. Your parent or guardian would definitely need to come and assist you in that. And you also need to have your immunization record. Again, we can assist you with that through our partners at our Samurai clinics, to ensure that you have what you need. A few slides later, we'll have an example of some of the things that you can use as proofs of residency, but one that I know is not considered an approved proof: documents with a post office box. Those are not acceptable. So we'll have our full list in upcoming slides for that. Also, with the affidavit piece, if you are on an affidavit this current school year and you're a returning student, you still would need to come in person, because those affidavits are temporary and they have to be reviewed, information updated, and then approved on a yearly basis. We have some that are 30 days, some that are 60, some that are 90, some that may be for the entire school year or that current year. So you definitely want to make sure that you come in and get that updated each year, even if your baby is returning. We're so excited about the capabilities of scanning and uploading our documents into active parents, but you have to have access as the parent to a scanner or a camera. And I know we are neighbors and a lot of us help each other out. So if you're someone in the neighborhood that has a scanner or a computer or a smartphone to help upload those documents, please do so. So that way we can make it as smooth as possible and as easy as possible for our parents. Some examples of the proofs that you may have to bring with you, they include the homestead tax exemption, a deed or a mortgage, apartment lease. Any of those apartment leases, they must be current, families. And if you're going to have some type of unofficial lease, it needs to be computer generated and notarized, as well. Your utility bills, your electricity bill, water, a telephone line for the actual house, not the cell phone bills. Cell phone bills and PO boxes are not acceptable. With your driver's license, those proofs need to match your approved proof of residency. And that's especially important when you are dealing with our affidavit parents or our parents who are moving in from out of state. Those things, anything outside of that box would need to be approved by an administrator. I'm going to say this, and I encourage you all to pass the word as well and to adhere to that. Never leave any of our school buildings with a simple no without having spoken to an administrator. Our administrators have the ability to work with you. They are there to listen to the situations and handle each one on an individual basis. We have our general overall guidelines, but then our administrators are there to review additional documents and look at additional pieces of information to ensure that our families have what they need. We want our babies in school. We want it to be a positive relationship, and it all starts with that registration process. That's another reason why we've extended it as the entire summer, so that you're not rushed to get it all in within 1 to 3 days, and other things are going on at the same time. So we've been really pleased with that piece. So again, ma'am, sir, make sure you speak to an administrator, whether it be about ID, proofs of residency, any questions before you leave that campus with a simple no. There's some specific details for our students who were here with us the previous year, and they're not necessarily on an affidavit. You can go ahead and start that registration. Ms. Winters is going to have that open for you starting May 3rd. If you've forgotten your password or your username or any pieces of your login to your active parent account, parents, please, sir, please, ma'am, contact your schools. Make sure that you make contact with the counselor there. They can reset those for you. They can help you create your accounts. I know it may take a little bit, especially because we're in testing season now, but we, again, are here to help. So if you've lost, forgot your username, your password for your active parent accounts, please contact your school buildings, specifically that counselor, to assist you with that. You can email. My email address is there. Ms. Winters, will you type your email address in the chat box if you don't mind? Ms. Winters is the one at the district level that deals with our registration process and our active parent accounts. So we'll both be glad to assist you. However, most often, starting at the school level will be most beneficial to you. If you are requesting an affidavit, the things that I explained earlier orally, they are actually listed here on this PowerPoint for you concerning the affidavit. If you're new or if you're returning and you need an affidavit, both that parent or guardian of that student who's registering, as well as the leaseholder and the owner, they must come together in person with those appropriate documents for residency. That means immunization, that means the proofs, that means your ID. All of those things should be brought to those schools. Affidavit, that process will not begin until July 15th. Notice up until this point, everything we referred to was centered around June the 1st through July 14th for open registration and May 3rd for online pieces via Active Parent. However, beginning July 15th through July 30th, Monday through Friday, 9 to 3 p.m. in person, you may go to your school sites to have those affidavit processes followed through by an administrator or counselor there on that campus. The things listed there are the same for registration for our new kids. And I do believe that's going to bring us to actually on the website where you can get to your pieces dealing with registration. Ms. Winters is going to hone in there and really make sure that our parents are familiar with the website and how we can find things. Again, you see the tabs there at the top. Ms. Coleman, our new community engagement person, is actually going to add a tab next to at home learning that says summer learning. So we'll have our summer applications available there. And then next to that, she will add a tab that has our registration pieces available for 2021 22 school year, as well as have a news story for you. So today, I know it's a lot of information. We are available here for you to ask questions. You can type them in the chat box. You can email us afterwards. But do know we are following up with making sure that those things will be made available to you via social media, and that this recording is available afterwards so that you can refer back to this information. Ms. Winters?
Hello. So at this point, parents, you're going to log onto the website and you're going to log onto Active Parent. And if you're new to the district, then you're going to create you a new account for Active Parent. But if you're returning, then you can also log onto the webpage and you can just put your credentials in. Once you log onto the website, it's going to take you to the Active Parent portal. At this point, if you're new to the district, you've already gone to the school and you have an active code, or if you a returning parent or student, then you're gonna just log on. There's a pin pad at the top right-hand corner. You're gonna click on the pin pad, and right there is going to have either your student in the drop-down box, or you have the option to enter your code. So once you put all your information in, then it's going to give you the option to go ahead and begin the registration. So once you start the registration, you're going to, you have an option for your registration type, and the registration type is going to always be the current year that you're going to be working in. You're going to update, at the bottom, it has update, continue registration. So at this point, if you're a returning student, all your information is going to be pre-populated. So the only thing that you need to change at this point, you don't have to do anything if you're a returning student. This is going to be pre-populated, which is going to be the child's name, date of birth, social security number, and their gender. So you don't have to do anything here, but if you're a new student to the district, then you have to fill out all this information. Okay, so with a returning student, parents, if your address has changed, you have the option to delete or edit. If you no longer live at that address, you can delete it. Or you have the option to just click edit. So once you select edit, and it's not showing here, but I'm looking at the portal that you're going to be looking at once you begin the registration process. So if you no longer lives at this address, parents, we strongly suggest to either delete that information, or you can edit it and put the correct information there. And once you put the correct information there, it gives you the option to go ahead and just save the address. You have the option to edit and delete phone numbers. You have the option to delete email addresses. And also at this point, parent, you can upload residency documents.
And Ms. Winters, I definitely want to point out some things here. The immunization documents you can upload, any medical documentation, like you have an asthma plan, and also any medical conditions that you may have. Please, sir, please, ma'am, make sure that you take the time to fill that out here in these spots so that we can be aware of that.
Okay. So I'm still working in the residency info, parents. And at the bottom, it has your address changed. So you have the option to select yes or no. Then it's also asking you, are you requesting an affidavit to attend HPSD schools? So you have the option to select yes or no. And if you select yes, it tells you to contact your school for an in-person for an appointment. But we're not doing appointments this year. But if you select yes, then it's going to automatically upload to the school, and the schools will be contacting you for your information. Also, when you click on any tab concerning registration, we have notes at the top that lets you know that the one for step 2 residency info. It says if your address has changed or if your child is a new student to Hattiesburg Public School District, you must upload proof of residency. If your address and phone number has changed, please delete the old information and add the new information. We're going to birth and early childhood, which is tab 3, birth and early childhood. So at this point, if you're returning students, like I said, all the information is going to be pre-populated. But if you're a new student, you're going to have to put in all the information: birth certificate, birth city, state, country, and you can upload documents on this tab. Also, we have noticed with the early childhood program, this is required by MDE. If your child attended any pre-K program, we need you to notate that in this box. Don't just bypass it or say none. If your child went to any pre-K program, we need to know this because this is required by MDE. Okay, so the next tab is going to be immunization and medical. You have the option to upload any documents here when it comes to immunizations and medical documents. You can also, if your child has a medical condition, you have the option to select any medical condition that your child may have. And you're going to save it and go to the next step, which is going to be for permissions. So here is our permission and waivers tab. So you can select yes or no by each permission given Hattiesburg Public School Districts the option for your waivers. And if you need to upload anything here, you can upload documents here. And your next tab is going to be parent and guardian. Okay, parents, right here, if there's anybody that you do not want on this contact list, please delete them. Telephone numbers, addresses. We get calls all the time saying that they don't have children at the district. Will you please stop calling my house, or can you take me off the contact list? If there's anybody that's on your contact list that shouldn't be here, please delete them off your list. Also, for your contact list, you must designate whether whoever you put on your contact list, you must designate if they're going to be emergency contact, do the student resides with them, or you don't want them to check the student out, but you must check something under the contact person.
Also, the AIM. Will you speak to that, Ms. Winters?
Well, we are no longer using AIM. So the parents, they don't have to do that anymore because we're no longer using the AIM call system.
Perfect. So we're using school status at this point to contact parents. So just ensure that someone is labeled as that primary person in the computer, so that school status can contact them.
Okay. Oh, parents, and you must have an emergency contact. So it's going to be you, and you must designate a second person on your contact list. So it has to be 2 people. You can put as many as 2, 3, 4, but it has to be at least 2. Okay, so under the miscellaneous documents, you can upload anything here that you didn't upload when it comes to the address form, or anything that you didn't do back in the previous registration. If you didn't upload anything, you can upload it here, and it will also upload with the student registration. Also, parents, if school is dismissed early due to emergency, we need you to select one of these boxes. Will your child ride a bus? Do they walk or ride the bicycle home? We need you to select an option here. The home language survey, if you're a returning student, is already populated and it's already filled out. But if you're new student parents, we need you to fill out the home language survey. We have the migrant survey too. And also you have the option, which is very important. If your child has a sibling that attends the Hattiesburg Public School District, you have the option to attach the sibling's name. And this will upload with the child when it comes to registration. If we need to, just say if you forgot to put information on your child, and if you put down here that John Doe is that child's sibling, then we can go to John Doe folder and get information or pull information from that folder to add. So that's very beneficial. We also have the McKinney-Vento survey. And this is going to conclude the registration, parents. All you need to do is just check the box and just put in your name, put your full name in, and then you're going to save and finish it. And once you finish the registration, it's either going to give you an error, or it's going to complete the registration. So if you get an error, then it's going to take you back to what you didn't complete. So if you have any questions, parents, please don't hesitate to contact the schools if you have some questions. This is your registration portal, parents. If you have phone numbers, address, contact information that changes within the school year, please make those changes and active parent. You can upload any documents, and you can contact the schools and let them know, well, hey, I moved and I uploaded my new address. I uploaded my proof to residency, and I'm just letting you know that I moved. And they may need to tell you where you need to bring those documents into them, or however they want you to do it. But once again, this is your portal, so you can go in and make any changes that you want to, and you can contact the schools and let them know. Also, I just want to point out, when you're completing your registration, make sure that you have all the required documents nearby: social security number, birth certificates, and make sure that you are putting an accurate name and birthday to your child. Believe it or not, we have had some parents to they put wrong names in, they put wrong date of birth in, they put wrong social security numbers in. So we have had some issues on that evening. So this concludes the registration. If you have any questions, contact your schools, or you can contact me at the central office. My email address is in the box. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Winters. Parents, for you, I did drop in our link to our HPSD communications page where you will find this Tiger Connect session posted at 6 p.m. Also, you may find additional Tiger Connect sessions that have happened in the past. We do appreciate you all taking this time. Information is extremely, extremely valuable to our parents and to our communities. But we need you all first and foremost to be ambassadors for us and what is happening and taking place. People listen to each other. So if they have any questions about anything, encourage them to contact us, encourage them to join us for Tiger Connect on Tuesdays at 12 p.m. and to also visit our Tiger Connect YouTube. You will see it is called HPSD Communications there. And then you can actually from home see several videos that are posted for different reasons. But the Tiger Connect specifically does have its own playlist here. So there's 23 videos there and 5 how-to videos that center around our technology pieces. And then these are on various topics that we have. You can see there's Google, there's summer learning and what we'll have available for our students. There's dyslexia tips, there's ways, counseling awareness, EL. We've talked about college, ACT tips. And in fact, next week specifically is our comprehensive needs assessment piece. We will share that data, what our teachers, what our students, what our parents, what our community provided to us as feedback for this school year. All of that data will in turn be taken to create what is called our Title I school-wide plan. And it will very much impact how those dollars are spent for the upcoming school year. So please don't miss that opportunity to hear that information and that presentation next week at 12 p.m. We'll be at the same place, same time, same link, and we will be discussing federal programs and how those supplemental funds help and assist us to make Hattiesburg Public School District better. Again, if you have questions specifically regarding registration, you may contact your school site, your counselors there, or your principals. If there are additional questions and you cannot reach anyone at your school site, feel free to email Ms. Virginia Winters or myself. Both of our email addresses are there for you in the chat box. Help us to pass the word about Hattiesburg Public School District and the great things going on and the information that is also made readily available to our parents. Thank you, parents community, for entrusting us with your most precious, your most valuable commodity, that being your children, our children. Thank you so much for joining us for this session of Tiger Connect. We will see you next week.